What is upper YouTube land? It's your boy Vince, and this is the Week 7 spirit of Stuart Scott and John Saunders up in this bitch. Week 7 NFL review, the pretenders and contenders. Contenders and pretenders, you know. Good teams, bad teams, and I'm going to cover, I guess, a few teams that are a little in between, but it's got to the point to where it's kind of easy to tell, and there are certain teams that are on the fence. But let me just say this. I'm going to mostly talk about, everybody's favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. And, they're doing well so far, but you got to remember last year, Dallas won only about 3 or 4 games, so they had a very weak schedule. And, they're winning right now. And Dak Prescott is good. The dude is from Mississippi State. He's from Louisiana. He's from the Monroe, Louisiana area, but he went to Mississippi State. He was a real good QB at Mississippi State, and, he can hit the in-between and all the little low and away passes, Those are the key passes that you have to hit. So that's the most impressive thing other than him only throwing 1 interception the whole year. And going to be 7 seasons or 7 weeks into the season. But Dak Prescott is good, and you just wait till Dez Bryant gets back, and if he's at least 90-95%, Dallas will be better. But, the big thing that's really helping them out, too, and it gets overlooked, is the same thing that got John Elway a 2 Super Bowl rings. And it's the fact that you have a good running back where I must admit, the dude has surprised me. I thought he was going to struggle a little bit, maybe average about 3.5, 4 yards on the dot, but he's cutting up. He's averaging a little bit over 5 yards a carry. It's Ezekiel Elliott. When you got a offensive line, that's really what it is. They just have a good O-line coach, and they just have good conditioning up front, plain and simple. They just wearing people out. That's how DeMarco Murray got his name. But, I'm into fantasy right now. I'm into fantasy. I'm over at FanDuel. That's FanDuel. I might try to put my damn username in there. If you're over at FanDuel, check me out. I might try to find it. If I find it, I'll put it in the description box. You can just look up my username. Send me a request. But Atlanta is doing well now. But I don't never know about Atlanta. They always start off like this, or either it'd be the opposite. They'll start off average and then explode at the end and then flounder in the playoffs. Or either they'll start off strong and then just fall off. That's what Julio Jones did last year. He started off the first 5 or 6 games a beast. And then he played average. He played pretty good, but average for about 3 or 4 weeks. I think he had an injury. And that's the thing nowadays that's fucking up a lot of fantasy players. These key players that are getting injured, like the San Diego Chargers, whenever you got them QBs like Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, they're going to throw a lot of yards. The only thing is, in my view and in my opinion, it's best to pick them. And maybe you can try one of their receivers, because see, the thing about them guys is that they spread the ball out. Whereas Matt Ryan, he's kind of keyed in on Julio Jones. And, even the young rookie in Philadelphia. That's another team I want to talk about. Philadelphia is going to do okay. I think they'll come out that I think they possibly could get a wild card, but it's looking like Dallas for right now. But the team that's really, the silent assassin in the NFL is the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson is just cutting up quietly and silently, like he always does, and the Minnesota Vikings. But, Russell Wilson is connecting with Doug Baldwin. Doug Baldwin will get you a lot of points on fantasy, especially against a bad defense. I go to certain, there's certain sites that you can Google or search them. They show you NFL team rankings. And another thing you got to be a nerd enough to do, I need to start being a little bit more microscopic, is look up the height of certain defensive backs who are going to be covering 6'5" wide receivers who are just going to be leaping over them all day. Travis Henry, guys like that. And see, Antonio Brown can be a tricky pick on fantasy because he catches a lot of passes, but sometimes he don't get a lot of yards. And Ben Roethlisberger is out, so the whole deal with Pittsburgh is back to almost last season when they had Michael Vick in there. But the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, I can't explain it other than the defense. They're just doing outrageous right now. I do know that they have a receiver, but he's injured. He's a good player on fantasy. He can get you a lot of catches, a lot of yards. Damn it, I can't think of that boy name. It's not my boy Treadwell. It's the other boy from the Minnesota Vikings. Fuck, I can't think of his name right now. But he's an outstanding young rookie receiver. This is his first year, man. He's cutting up. He was the leading receiver in the league until he got injured. He's probably going to be out 1 or 2 more games. I don't know. But hopefully he'll be back soon. But I will say it in this order. These are my 5 strongest and 5 weakest teams. Right now, I'll say the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks are number 1 and number 2. I say the Denver Broncos are number 3. Dallas, I still put the Broncos, even though they're going to have to do something with their QB. The Denver Broncos got to do something with their QB situation. It's horrible. But if they can give that defense, I'm still confident in that defense. And something tells me that the Tennessee Titans could come out. They could end up doing something. If Marcus Mariota cannot turn the ball over, one of them receivers is going to have to be the 13 to 17 yard a catch guy. Look at the Tennessee Titans. The New York Jets are done. The New York Jets are finished. But there are some tricky teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars. They 3-3. And Jacksonville has a good pass defense. The Los Angeles Rams and the Minnesota Vikings also have a good pass defense. But I think the number 1 pass defense is either Seattle or it may be, just can't think right now. It might be Seattle with Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas just cutting up back there in the backfield. They're shutting receivers down. They did a job on Julio Jones. Everybody say that was an interference. I think it was. They did get away with one. I looked at the replay. I'm a Seattle fan, but hey, my favorite, I guess you could say the team I root for are the Saints, but they pitiful. But there's sometimes some tricky stats. I always malign the Saints defense. But there's one thing about the defense. They have a good run defense on the road. They only give up 1.9 yards a rush on the road for some bizarre reason. So if you're picking fantasy players, you got to look for stats like that. Picking and winning, because that's basically what it is. It's just about keeping up with stats and team stats and individual stats and, the size of players and how healthy players are. That's a key thing. You got to get players that are healthy. But the five worst teams, I guess I'll throw. Also, you can throw in the Buffalo Bills as one of those good teams. Also, man, they just need to get a little bit better at quarterback play and get LaShawn McCoy all the way healthy. If they have to sit him for a week, go ahead and sit him for a week, maybe 2 weeks. But hey, he'll be back. But they just got New England to go up against, and that's what fucks them up. Baltimore could make some noise. It all depends. It all depends on the QB play in Baltimore. But the 5 worst teams, I don't know, man. I know the Jets are done. Tampa Bay has relapsed, even though Jameson Winston is doing pretty good. They've relapsed. Carolina is, I don't know what the hell has happened to them. Super Bowl hangover. Detroit, Chicago, the typical characters, and I don't know what the hell is wrong with the Rams. They have no wide receivers. The Rams have no passing game. Todd Gurley's just getting eaten up. Poor Todd Gurley. He's getting massacred back there, man. Todd Gurley needs some serious help at wide receiver, but At the AFC West, look at the Oakland Raiders, man. The Oakland Raiders, if they can just get it together a little bit better, Amari Cooper and Crabtree are cutting up. They just need to get it together on defense and their QB not turn the damn ball over. David Carr, not turn the fucking ball over. And for some reason, although Aaron Rodgers recovered the other night against Chicago, Green Bay has started off slow. Yeah, we'll have to see where they go. They ain't got no explosiveness at wide receiver. It's just all Aaron Rodgers, and they need a healthy running back. But we'll see where it go. But that's the week 7 pretenders and contenders. Most notable players: Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. You also have the wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. Good Lord, I can't think of his name, but just look that guy up, that rookie wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. That boy is good, man. But that's the week 7 review, pretenders and contenders. Your boy Vince Rashad. I'm up out of here. I'm going to try to put my link to FanDuel in the description box or comment section. If not right now, at some point. Next week's review coming up next week, nigga. Holla.